Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Big round.
Could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to a very special edition of the Parents' Lounge. We have a guest tonight. First of all, I'm Jamie Kaler here at the Parents' Lounge. And our guest tonight, you may know from the Parents' Lounge and some other paranormal activity. He's usually the guy, he's up in the upper corner, mostly quiet, always defers to the guest. He is one of the hosts of a very popular parenting podcast called The Parents' Lounge. Please welcome my guest tonight, Mr. Jason Gowan. Jason, how are you? Yeah.
I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, you've been here so many times as a host. I feel like you've been here every time as the host.
Literally every time.
Literally every time as the host. But I think a lot of people were like, I'd really like to see him as the guest. You know, not the sniper who sits up atop and then just comes down with that one or two little punchlines. But let's get to know Jason Gowan.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Oh, I don't know. Everything. It does make me laugh, though. So we were talking earlier today about parenting, and that's what this whole show started as. And what it's become is a weekly cathartic session where us and our guests get out our...
That Mulligan woman.
Mulligan's at the screening of Avatar tonight, by the way, which kind of worked out great so that we could just chat without her, because sometimes it's just blah, 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 blah. It's like I go to work with my wife. It's really...
She's our work wife.
She's our work wife. She's absolutely our work wife. But she's at a screening of Avatar. She's like, I can't do the show. It's James Cameron and I. And I was like, all right, I get it.
I didn't realize they were that close.
No, I don't know if they are. I don't know. You know, she's
You're
got
a big Throwdown fan. She knows a lot of people, a lot more than she lets on.
She's got a
story. She like it slides out sometimes, and she's like, "Oh, well, I was at such and such with Meryl Streep," and I'm like, "Wait, what now?"
She's got some check marks on her resume that are pretty good. Yeah, she's got a nice resume going of people she knows. But it's Christmas time, and we've been talking about kids. When did you first dream of one day obtaining a black leather hat?
Out of the womb, honestly. Right out of the womb.
Are we back on the black? That's not the black leather hat, though.
No, this is just a regular hat.
Yeah. Narcolepsy. Black leather hat was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
it really stuck with some people. I got fan mail about it. Turns out I'm a bear. I'm what's called a bear cub.
I'm not sure if you know what that means, but good. You're going to be very popular at some very specific types of bars that I think
really.
You're gonna, yeah.
Oh, I love it. I would love that.
Oh, you'll drink for free. You'll dance the night away. You won't even have to wear a shirt or pants for the most part. Maybe some chaps, and then you will just go. Oh, it's so much fun. I've experienced this. Pretty great.
I got confused at chaps.
Oh no, you get chaps because you don't know if you're gonna, if they have the horse there that you got to ride, the mechanical bull, and you ride it.
Yes, sir.
You're definitely gonna want, the certain bars you're gonna want your chaps. Hey, Genevieve. Hey, boys, and it is a cool hat. How's
We
everybody's
haven't seen her for a
Christmas
while. Huh?
with
The whole crew's here
children
tonight.
going?
What?
We have let's talk about Christmas and kids, shall we? Because I feel
Sure.
like
We're in the
it.
thick of it.
Yeah, and so here's the deal. My wife is out of town, and my two kids are like just on the other side of that door. So I'm very limited as to how loud and what I can talk about tonight.
Mm.
Because we are doing. The elves came last night. And here's the thing about the elf on the shelf.
Wait, when do you start yours? When do you start yours?
They came right after Thanksgiving.
Ours comes Thanksgiving Day.
And so that's another thing. Like one of the other kids had it the day after Thanksgiving. It came, and ours didn't come. And my kids were confused. They were like, they go, well, where's our elf? And then we had to come up with a rule as to when the elf comes. And so we said, no, well, it doesn't happen until the ornaments go on the tree. That's what, yes, Genevieve, exactly. That's when the elves will come, is when the magic of the ornaments on the tree spark
so
it.
it's like a lightning rod for the
So we put up the tree that Sunday after Thanksgiving, and then they showed up. And here's what I want to say about the elves, and I think everyone's in agreement with that, is that I feel that we're so lucky that the elves are real, and there's magic involved, and they come every night and they do all the work themselves, and they set it up and they interact with your children. Because if it wasn't real, it would be the worst job that's ever happened to any parent in life. And if it was invented just by someone who, this is crazy talk, but because obviously they are real. The elves are real.
Parents couldn't do that all in one
Parents
night.
couldn't do that on their own. It would be too much. No one could do that much work. So it's pretty lucky that they are real. Because I mean, just say for instance, like, you go back through history and they weren't real, and someone had just written a book and invented this tradition that people are then trapped in, and they would have to perform this task every year for the entire month of December, like even like on a week when their wife's out of town. And, you only had one elf last year for the one kid, but then for some reason, somebody decided that the other kid should have their own elf. And so now you've doubled. It's not, obviously, it's this because they are real. We know they're real. There's magic. And the elves report back to Santa. We know how it works. But say it wasn't, and it was really a job that parents had to do. It would be pretty horrible, right?
It would be just painful. Look, worse than dental surgery.
Yeah.
Without any sort of painkiller.
Yeah.
And because we have 3 children, we have 3 elves.
Oh, luckily they're real.
Right.
So you don't have to do anything. They just fly in every night and do their thing.
Here's what happens at our house is that during December, the definition of bad gets lightened, so that if they're remotely bad at all, the elves don't do anything that night. So sometimes 4 to 5 days, things that during November and October that were not bad are now bad, and then the elves do jack shit.
So they don't, if the kids are bad, and I think this is a great thing for everybody to incorporate, because that's what the elves are there to monitor kids' behavior and report to Santa and say, hey, this kid's on the bad list, right? No presents. That's the whole premise of it. So if the kids are bad, then the elves don't move.
No.
Yeah. And then, like, if your kid's really bad, like mine are, that maybe the elves don't move for the entire month.
So like Logan bit the dentist that day, elves didn't move.
Yeah. And my kids, you can't touch the elf. But my kids get up every morning and they have drumsticks, and then they manhandle the elf with the drumsticks so it doesn't touch their fingers. And I kind of am like, I'm lost, where I'm like, that's
still moving them. I mean,
that's what I said. And they go, no, Dad, that's different. So they must know the rules better than I do.
I mean, there's got to be an elfin law book somewhere that tells.
Yeah. I don't know. So a lot of people, I don't know if they know all of your story, but you do have 3 children.
I do. We had Costco was running a buy one get one on
Mhm.
babies, and my wife couldn't pass up the deal, and she got twin boys.
Yeah.
Um,
So, but you buying those kids is like when I bought those 3 jugs of uh, uh, maple syrup
mhm.
because it was a great deal on maple syrup. So I bought the 3 jugs because you had to buy them by the 3 jug pack. And then I remember 2 years later, I threw all 3 of them out because they were sat in my cupboard for 3 years. Because it turns out my kids don't like maple syrup; they just put Nutella on things.
Oh, see, we're in the maple belt here, so we have a lot of the really like Pennsylvania maple syrup here. So they
Well, I'm
like
from
the
New
real
Hampshire
stuff.
and Vermont, so I know good maple
You know,
syrup.
yeah, you would know it. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
also from that thing. So we don't. Aunt Jemima doesn't fly here, although the new blue kind, like the blue colored kind, does fly here for. I think the color.
Never heard of it. There's a blue maple syrup.
It's a blue maple syrup. Yeah.
I don't know it. I love that my friend Ted Hardwick's in here. I watched him perform the other night. We used to do Acme together. Fantastic
Oh,
performer.
how was the show?
It was really fun. And it was super great. Christmas. Ralph Garman, Eddie Pence, Kira
Oh, I love those
Sultanovich,
guys. Oh, Eddie's the best.
all guests from our show. Yeah, Eric Schwartz. We should have Eric on. He's actually really funny. And Ted says if they ask you not to handle puppies and you handle puppies with drumsticks, I think Ted, I think drumsticks are kind of like the rubber gloves of today's generation, the kids today, because my kids if they're not supposed to touch something, it's kind of a little caveat they get away with. I mean, I guess in court, if the lawyer stood there and said, you just swore on a Bible, did you touch that thing? My kid would go, I did not touch it.
I used the Christine Lakin trick of let's check the tape. You want to tell me before I check the video? You want to tell me? And Jace confesses every single time because we do have cameras all over the house. So I could check, but it's just easier when I ask him, and then he just literally confesses.
Have those cameras ever come back to haunt you personally?
You know the story, or I told it on stage in Sayre. My wife took some risque photos and then didn't realize that the folder was connected to Alexa and it uploaded them as the screensaver.
Mm.
And then when my mother-in-law came, it came on the screen behind her, and Jace noticed Mom dressed as Catwoman and then announced it to the room. And I ran forward and slapped the Alexa off of the counter.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like technology is so weird. I don't know. I got to be really careful because they are close. But anyway, if you get your
And Hannah, I feel like, is a surveillance person.
She's so sneaky, dude. The kid fakes being asleep so much. Where the night I go, oh, well, you were in bed. She goes, no, I wasn't. I go, well, you were asleep. She goes, no, I was not. I heard everything. She's a total sneaker. I'm gonna have to start Benadryling that kid at night. She say you were gonna get a computer for your child.
Yes.
For the holidays, which
Right.
may or may not be happening.
It might. Yeah.
It is. You have to. So I sat there forever talking to the guy, and actually, maybe somebody out there can help me because she's not going to have. She's going to have to go on my account. I'm not giving a 9-year-old their own account.
No, I think that's the right.
No Apple ID, right? She's going to have my. It's going to go on my email, my Apple account. It's just going to be a satellite computer off of mine. But therein lies the dilemma, because I have to make sure that certain things don't go to the cloud. Like I'm not on crazy stuff, but there's stuff I don't want them to see.
You need me to stop sending your tasteful nudes, Jamie. Just ask.
It's the dude, the big African American dude on the side of his bed with his appendage. Yeah, everyone, have you seen that meme? You've seen that meme.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I think everyone on earth has seen that meme. I somebody sent it's been sent to me many times. I mean, that's the kind of thing that if my 9-year-old were to see it, she'd be like, like what would happen? It would be like The Mask, where her Jim Carrey's eyes would just roll out of his head and roll back in. And be like, what? That's how I reacted when I saw it the first time. I was like, dude.
That's how that kind of thing, the shared Apple ID, is actually how I won my divorce case.
Oh, that's right. Well, listen, it's evidence, man.
It was.
Yeah. But I don't want my 9-year-old taking it in.
No. That would be terrible. Absolutely
So
terrible.
I'm gonna have to sit there. We need some help. I need some help. Maybe John can help me mixing with not. I gonna have to. You need a giant.
There's got to be a way to. There's got to be a way to separate it.
There is a way. I mean, I don't know it, but I'm sure there's a way to limit what comes from the cloud. And
I'm not an Apple person anymore. I have firmly switched to Samsung.
I am an Apple person, and so no, I'm still there. So, but so you have your oldest son had a birthday this week.
Yesterday turned 7, and we did a Chuck E. Cheese birthday party, just us. And honestly, it was every bit as painful as I remember. Twin 3-year-olds in a Chuck E. Cheese is, oh my God, it was so awful. It was so
I feel like
awful.
that's what that place is built for. It's like, as long as they can't get out the front door, just let them run crazy.
Well, they're so fast, and then they do, and they know, and they kind of figure out very quickly that they have free reign in there, and they just took off. And like Melissa and I are trying to enjoy Jace's birthday with him because he wants to, play the games and stuff with us. But the twins have other ideas. I found Darkwood crawled up inside the ski mall machine, and I had to climb up the sides of the machine to get him out.
Why?
Well, I think they frown on it. They don't want him in there.
Who cares what they want? It's Chuck E. Cheese. They have no say in anything. They're lucky you went there.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think of it that way. You're right.
What kind of person actually watches their kid at Chuck E. Cheese? Don't you think that's a little overcome? I would just go, look, they can't get out the front door. Let's move on.
I wish I had thought of that. You're right. I mean, I'm owed that babysitting that they do.
I let my kids act like that in the supermarket. I couldn't care less. Am I crazy?
No, I lose complete control of my children in the supermarket. You know that.
My kids climbed into the cooler where the creamers were. Climbed
in the cooler?
In the cooler. There was a gap where it's like they hadn't restocked the milk or something. My kids climbed in the cooler. I left my cart and I blocked the door so they
couldn't get out. Little time in the icebox.
Put them in the cooler. 3 days. Come on out and see how that feels. I didn't tell you to go in there. Yeah. Lesson learned.
I need to spend more time learning your parenting style.
Or you need to spend more time calling social services and getting me to stop my parenting style. I don't know. Who knows? We always talk about it because some kids have the greatest advantages of all time and warm, loving parents, and then it goes horribly. And then some other kid grows up with the worst parents of all time and comes out and invents some new giant contraption because they're a genius because all they did was sit home and read all day. I don't know.
I think Darklord's going to run for office. I really do. I think that he's got a political future ahead of him.
Okay.
Logan's
probably shows how crazy he is, right?
Oh, he's not.
What a blatant liar he is.
Yeah, and he doesn't speak, but but what he does say speaks volumes.
So let's talk about that because your twins. How is that going? Because we had a big emotional thing a couple shows ago where they are, and our buddy Dude Dad was just talking about that, where his son was a little slower to crawl, and they found out he had a hernia. And once they fixed that, then he started crawling. And your two boys are late speakers.
Yes, they were. The speech therapist and their IEP team has deemed them that they are nonverbal, and we were told that they would never talk at all. But
really,
yes.
At what age did they tell you that?
Beginning of 3, like 3.5.
I love that it's like 3. I mean, average people live about 80, and they were like, "No, you're done. That's these two, both of them are never going to speak."
They basically said something about the way that they were forming the words led them to believe that there was a neurological issue that was going on, and we're working with the team at Geisinger Medical Center, and we're trying to figure out exactly what it is. But they're already talking more words than we were told that they were ever going to. So I don't think that they are right, and I do think that we do have a shot. Like Anthony in particular, Darkwood is definitely saying more things. Like also that they are learning sign language, and so they'll sign to us, which is helping with the communication side of things. But they get frustrated when they can't just blurt the words out. But Anthony was saying like help, or I help, and so he's starting to put little pieces together that we were told that they were never going to do. And I get very emotional about it. They are now calling me by name, which, we didn't think was ever going to happen.
It's crazy. Yeah,
So
man, I can't even imagine. If anybody else is dealing with stuff like that, I'd love to hear from them, because every time we talk about it, I'm so intrigued. And here's the other thing. It's like, I get it, like a neurological problem on one child, but both? That seems odd to me that they would have the exact same. I mean, could it be? I know a bunch of kids that are late, and also the pandemic. They weren't around anybody but each other for 2 years or whatever.
Well, and because Melissa's medical condition, we were locked away for an extra year, so they had no social interaction at all. And so I
don't know if people know that part too, because your wife had a stroke when the two babies were born and almost died.
Yes. She had a hole in her heart that we didn't know was there. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to do the childbirth naturally. She went through with it. She was a champ, but the stress of that caused a blood clot. And because of the hole in her heart, the clot got through and went to her brain. And so we almost lost her. Another thing there, like we were told Melissa was, at max going to have 2 years to live, and we're almost 4 years later. And she's better now than.
I love that. I mean, what did you think when they were like, "Hey, she's going to probably have like 2 years to live," and you're like, "Hey, I have 3 little baby children." What? I'm sorry. What? That would be. I mean, dude. I mean, we can only laugh about it. We've laughed about it many times, and people are watching, and they're like, "Hey, that's not funny." It's not funny.
It's not, but it's the way that I'm dealing. I mean, honestly, it is the way I'm dealing with it, because like, what else? What are they going to do? I was going to be left alone with these 3 assholes. And like, I would, knowing that who they are now, I would not have survived that without her.
It's crazy. And she cannot drive a car.
She will never drive a car.
She'll never drive a car.
Her right hand has a significant detriment to it. No, it would not go well for us.
So Joey Steeler says, I have 1 3-year-old, and I can't imagine having 2 of him. No, Joey, nobody can. Narcolepsy says, is there anything in particular that you think might have had an influential effect on their speech? So they're saying, because nobody knows really what's causing this.
Well, then that's what they have to go for more testing. They did some hearing tests, and something about the way that the response was. They said, no, this is a neurological issue. It's not an inner ear issue. And then 3 different times the appointment has been canceled because they're understaffed at the hospital. So we're supposed to go January, I think it's the 9th, and have the testing done.
Is that common in twins? If one child has like a hereditary genetic thing or something like that, the other one has one too?
Well, I know speech delays are common in twins.
Is that right? They
yes.
both have it. That's so odd. I did not know that.
I'm not really sure, but I know we were told that in twins in particular that speech delays is a very common thing, and also they tend to run a little like 6 months ish behind other children.
Right. Well, I get that together they are, but now they're saying it's not just the fact that they're twins. It's they have this extra condition.
They have something. There's an X factor that is in play here. So it's very it's frustrating because you want the best for your kids. You want them to.
Sometimes I want my kids to be punished and suffer, but that's not often. No.
Not developmentally. I don't.
No, not development. No, not. But
I mean, do I think it's funny when they fight each other? Yes, I do.
Of course, we should film that, and we should bet on them. But tonight, I mean, my wife's not here. I picked up my kid after school, and they had drama after school, and she was eating a bag of Doritos at 4:30. The people who ran the class or whatever gave all the kids snacks at
Oh, is that
4:30 at
still
night.
going on?
Oh yeah, I get there and the kid's eating a bag of Doritos. I'm like, dude, who did this? And so then she comes home and I put out carrots and some cucumber and I made her tortellini, an avocado on the side. Didn't eat any of it. She's like, I'm not hungry. I go, oh really? Interesting. And then when I put her to bed after the show, she's going to be like, I'm pretty hungry. So I left all the food out there. It's on the table. I'm going to be that dad who's like, you sit down and you eat that or you're not going to bed.
I have tried all the different variations of that. None of it seems to go in my favor ever. No matter what version of that I do, it never works out for me.
She was sobbing so hard before the show started because I was kind of like, just like matter of fact, like, what? Are you kidding me? I made you that food. You're not going to eat it? And she was like, I'm so sorry, Daddy. I go, you're eating that food. And then she also like she made me. I gave her the tortellini. Usually she only likes it with Parmesan. Tonight she's like, oh, I want sauce on that. And so I had to go heat up sauce, and then she poured the sauce on, and then she didn't eat any of it, just a giant bowl. And she goes, oh, I didn't want it. I go, then what the?
Why would?
What? Why are you? What? Yeah. It was one of those. And then I lost my mind, and I was like, whatever. Just get in your pajamas and get in bed. So they're in there reading. They're supposed to be reading right now, but they're not. They're not reading.
Jason and I ate his entire dinner, and he thought that entitled him to a free reign on the candy canes that are on the Christmas tree. And I heard his mother very specifically tell him not to do it. And then he got the candy cane off the tree, and then could not fathom why his mother was angry. Very specifically was told, do not take the candy cane off of the tree.
Didn't you?
And his argument the entire time was, but I ate my dinner. But Mom told you very specifically, do not take the candy cane. And he did. And he just kept, he couldn't in his brain process that because he'd eaten his dinner, he was entitled to that candy cane.
Yeah. They have such, I think entitled is the right word. It's like, we had set up a premise earlier in my life where if I ate my dinner, I was rewarded with a dessert. I'm done with nighttime desserts. I'm done with them because it's keeping them awake. So all I do is like earlier in the day, they're always like, hey, can I have a chocolate kiss? Can I have the Kit Kat? That's the two elves are named Kit Kat and Twix.
Oh, that's interesting. We have Snickers, popcorn, and cookie.
There you go. Okay, well, now I get it. So they ate that. So then after dinner, they were like, hey, can I have
It's interesting that all our elves have food themed names.
Yeah. If I had one, it would be called bourbon. And if I had a second one, it would just be called fentanyl. It would be called anesthesia.
Mine would just be despair.
It would just be despair. What are the two? What's the name of your elves? Despair and regret. It's so weird. Your elf's name's Regret. Yes, it's Regret. My elf's name is Regret. Tommy Regret.
I bought a Grinch elf. He's got the elf on a shelf body with a Grinch head, and now he judges the other elves, and sometimes he just messes up the stuff they do. It's given me a reason to I'm like, how can I ruin this for the children?
That's really funny. You should have him like wrestling the other one where he's like pounding on him on the head or something. They're sneaking.
He's got him tied up, dangling above the blender.
Yeah. Oh, somebody sent me one where it was he's holding the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on the cheese grater. Did you see that? And all the little marshmallows are underneath it. Really funny. There's some. Unfortunately, now it's reached such a creative point where there are kits you can just buy on like Etsy or something. Somebody told me, and then each day it gives you a little.
It's like an advent calendar of like it's a schedule, and you just do the things, which is great.
We have advent calendars, by the way. One has a Lego advent calendar, and the other one has a Hatchimal. She gets a new Hatchimal every day in a Hatchimal.
You and I talked about this. Remember, I was trying to find one that was right because a lot of them really sucked that were left. We found a Jurassic World one, and he's all in.
Oh, that's good. So my wife always traditionally did the chocolate ones, right? I bought.
Oh, she bought the kit.
Oh, Darcy did. Yeah, actually, yeah. Honestly, I told my wife to do it. I said will make everything so easy because unfortunately now I have a serious job to do every night this week, especially while she's.
I woke up at 3 a.m. realizing that
we all do. Isn't that the worst feeling in the world? Because in the back of your head, you're like, I'm gonna be the guy who wrecks it. I'm gonna wreck Christmas.
I don't want to kill the innocents. I don't want to be that
right?
guy.
I know it's this crazy. Like I've done it. We woke up at like 4 a.m. and you're like, oh god, and you like creep down, and but they're at ages now where they fake being asleep, and you're like, God, is she asleep? Is she? And then I hold the pillow just over her face for a couple minutes, just to really quiet her down.
Just a real calm.
Just to calm her down. It's like horse blinders. That's it. Just a pillow over the face. And then I go ahead and move things around. I can't even talk. This is crazy. I'm trying to do a show while the two kids are in the other room.
I haven't heard them
here too. You what?
I haven't heard them.
That's one of the most dangerous. It's like the shark below the water. You don't even see the fin, and all of a sudden you lose a leg. That's how kids work.
Leg, yeah.
Yeah. You're better off seeing the fin. If I see the fin, I go, don't go there, right? But if the thing's underwater, I don't know where it is, and then you're in trouble. Then bad things happen.
We had an incident this week. So Jason, I talked to you right after I had dropped off cupcakes for his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And he came home. He was very distraught. He wanted Spider-Man cupcakes, which I got, and I delivered them to school. Some kid in the class yelled out that Spider-Man was stupid and they hated him and he didn't want the cupcakes. And Jace took it very personally. And I was like, first of all, Spider-Man was one of the highest grossing movies of last year. Every Spider-Man movie has always, grossed in the top 25 movies of all time. Tell that kid he has a stupid face and shut the fuck up or shut that.
I would say the same thing. I tell my kids that all the time. I say, yeah, what do you listen to that kid for? Kid's an idiot.
And then I told him to start a rumor that the kid poops his pants just politely on the thing. That kid will have a lot of other things he's got to deal with.
I mean, to be fair, the kid probably does poop his pants.
They asked me to be the Grinch for the school.
Mm-hmm.
So now
they got to pay. They got to pay for the Grinch. The Grinch don't work for free.
That ain't free. However, tonight our sponsors are Hot Girls Are Waiting Here.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Looking at xxx69.biz.
I mean, can anyone read the room less than XX69biz? Can anybody read the room less? It's a bunch of dudes maybe he's reading the room right. It's a bunch of dads who, I don't know. Oh, he was blocked? You blocked him?
Yeah, he's gone now.
What was the line he said? Hot girls here?
Hot girls available here.
Ooh. I don't know about you. Anybody I know who's married is like, why? I'm always amazed when somebody's married and then has a girl on the side. You're like, why would you 6'9" Narcolepsy is killing it tonight? Did anyone say hot girls? Joey Steelers.
Here's the thing.
How about the guy? All right, so here's my question. And I think I've talked about this before because it blows my mind. Anytime some guy has like a whole other family, like 2 towns over, and then he pretends he's a businessman going each way. He's like, oh, I got to go back to there. I got to go. I'm on the road working. Who is that sick? Whoever, like, if somebody gets caught in that position, they should be sent to a mental institution. Like, you're insane. What kind of sick person does that to themselves?
It feels like it would be way more work than it was worth.
Oh, God.
What are the benefits of it?
None. A lot of money out. You got to take orders from 2 wives. Like 2 women are telling you how to live your life. And what if what if they differ? What if one wife's like, oh, I love your mustache. And the other one's like, take that mustache off or I'm going to kill you in your sleep. You got a real half. You got a real you come back, you go, she's like, is that a Van Dyke? Yes, I went with the Van Dyke because I didn't know what else to do. I'm just amazed when I see guys who do that, where you're like I listen, I don't condone it, but I understand the whole premise of like, you know, you got drunk, you were out at a bar, something happened. Terrible, terrible. I understand that mentality.
A moment of weakness. It happened.
Yes, I get that. I don't condone it. Of course not. It destroys everything, but I get it. But to actually like go like court someone else, go through the whole process again, have a relationship, have other kids while you're keeping a secret about your other family that you have, another wife and a couple kids 2 towns over. How is that possible? Jamie is dating this week the wife that doesn't like the mustache. Oh, dude.
Oh, you guys kill me. The comments are so fun.
Killing it tonight. My wife did tell me to shave. She's like, you got to get rid of that mustache. And it's really bad too, because I finally gave in and I shaved it, but I had it for the last weekend. I coached the kids' soccer games. So we had all the team photos at the end of the season like this. And there's me with the Johnny, the big Wyatt Earp looking like, terrible. I should have shaved it before that day, but I kept it. So
I thought you looked like a very distinguished Magnum PI.
Yeah. Yeah. Different kind of Magnum, but yes. What else is happening? It's so funny that it's this time of year, man. It's just every year it makes me laugh. Bizarro Kaler. I'm living in Bizarro Kaler. Well, God, Narcolepsy's killing it. Is he on staff this week as a writer?
Yeah, he and Joey both are rocking it.
What are you guys doing for this? Well, we should ask those guys to comment. What's happening? Magnum P9. Magnum P9. How is that not a porn film?
Oh, it probably is.
Magnum P9. That's really funny.
I was the Grinch 3 days this weekend. Took over 1,400 photos on Saturday.
Crazy. We have a very big Grinch Christmas special coming.
I'm so excited.
New Year's, Christmas Eve. Right?
Christmas Eve, the Grinch special will be out this year, just like last year.
It's our annual tradition. We're doing we have a little, I think we're going to learn a little bit more about the Grinch this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we're going to have some people from his life. Come on, we have we unearthed this crazy documentary about the Grinch, and
thank you, Katie.
For a lot of people to see it. It's going to be very exciting.
It's I look forward to hearing his backstory because I feel like it's different than people expect.
And we have a few celebs who are going to be part of the Grinch's entourage, I should say.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't know it yet. I got to reach out to them still, but I think they'll do it.
The one in particular is it's
Don't blow it because she doesn't know it's coming yet. But I got to call her. Okay. What else are we talking about? Christmas. Here's what happened. So my kid's school does a boutique. Does any other parents out there do that? Where
what is it?
The school puts on a shopping boutique in the gym, and you can give your kids money, and then the kids go to the school. And then they can shop for the parents in this Christmas boutique. So every year,
I remember you talking about it last year. Katie,
every year I get a mug.
I have no idea.
I get a mug that says "Golf Dad" or something, right? Like every year.
Like a tie.
So some of the other kids the parents are giving them like way too much money. So I gave them
what is the expected amount you're supposed to send them with?
I don't know.
Because I remember Claire talking about it last year, and she had 4 kids, and she sent them all with money.
I think she also sent with like $80 a kid or $40 to $80 or something, a lot. But so I went. Our school does not, but I can look into it, says Katie.
No, you don't need to do that. Please don't. She's in charge of all that kind of thing.
So actually, I don't know if it's raising money for the school or something, but the presents are like, I don't know. Yes, I just gave I gave $10 today too, Joey. That's funny. But then
how long does this bazaar last?
It's a couple days. So it's there. And then the kids have appointed times during school from like 10 to 11. And so I went during my kids' appointed time so that I could see what was there. And I shopped with them. And of course, they, then they were like, you need to leave so I can shop for you. But I'd already walked around the whole place and I was like, do not buy me anything here. Here's what happens. They go and they buy themselves stuff. Or they
Of course they do. Of course they do.
So we had the same, we had a book fair. So you're like, yeah, in the back of your head, you're like, well, of course I want my kid to read books. So you send them with money to the book fair. She came home with a stuffed animal and a poster.
Yep.
From the book
Same
fair.
thing with Jace.
What a colossal.
He got one of those slap there. It's a slap bracelet, but it's also a stuffed animal. And he literally, like, I was like, first of all, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And second of all, the poster is not educational. It's a car.
No, it's a book fair. It's a book fair. I'm so confused why. And so they bought, and I think she bought like M&Ms. She bought like there was they had candy and like M&Ms were there. And so she came home with M&Ms, a stuffed animal and a poster from the book fair for like.
There's candy at the book fair.
Yeah, there was candy. There was candy at the boutique this week too. She bought candy.
My Broader Bun's really branching out.
Stuffed animals. There's a lot of stuffed animals. My daughter came home with okay, wait a minute. This is really funny. My daughter came home with put this up. My daughter came home with an ice cream pencil topper. That's right. She bought bookmarks. My daughter bought like 3 bookmarks. And I go,
the bookmark to some degree makes sense to me because you could use it in a book if you purchased a book.
Here's the weird thing about bookmarks. I don't know if you know this. You can use any piece of paper to mark where you are in the book. So, yeah. Do I need a bookmark that says cats are cool? No. I don't need that for $2. It's garbage. I get so frustrated. And I'm feeling the same way about the boutique because a lot of the stuff in there, I was like, what is this? What is happening?
Are they vendors or are they parents? Like, who are these people?
Sure but it was a lot of stuff there.
Like, can you can you start your own little like boutique yourself?
I should.
Because you have to make up the volunteer hours you lost for Parents Lounge.
That's right. I wasn't there that weekend at the Harvest Festival. Although I donated so much stuff because of my friends at Black Rifle Coffee and my friends at 16600 Winery. I donated huge packages of stuff for the auction. So I made my hours that way. But we have to do hours later.
I need to get a hold of them. I'm running low on wine here.
Actually, they just sent me one. They sent me one for Christmas. It's so good. So it's funny because, and I told the kids, I said, listen, don't waste your, Claire took her tooth fairy money to school. And then the book fair cost me $20 for a bad book, but at least it was a book. Yeah, at least it's a book. That's the problem.
Better than us.
Kids make terrible choices. Therein lies the dilemma, is that children, I would argue humans for the most part, more often than not, make terrible decisions. And when it's a child, it's an absolute train wreck of a decision.
Yeah, Jace has no impulse control at all. At all. So
that's called a sociopath, by the way.
I mean, there's a lot of evidence to support that that's true.
Oh, yeah.
I embarrassed him. There was a little girl that he is sweet on at the Walmart, and he got all flustered. So I got to do the time-honored tradition of shaming your child and picking on him. And he immediately got his revenge by yelling out, "This guy here crapped his pants. This guy right here messed his pants in the Walmart." He's yelling it out in the store.
At 7 years old.
Yes.
To be fair, did you mess your pants?
I'm not going to just say it.
Okay, you messed your pants. I thought you did. I thought you had. It makes sense. Because listen, every time I'm at Walmart,
I did not. I have more self-control than that. I haven't had an accident in 2 or 3 years.
I haven't sharted in over a week. I don't know what to tell you anymore, brother. Shart in a Walmart? Of course.
I mean, if you're gonna, there's a place to do it.
I did do a cleanse this week. You
did?
Yeah, I did a full cleanse. Yeah.
Like a juice cleanse?
Do you not know the Kaler cleanse? No, I don't use juice.
Just alcohol?
No, there was no alcohol involved. No. You haven't heard of my cleanse? Oh, it's great.
No.
Clean as for everyone out there. Here's my cleanse routine I do. Like a late afternoon on a Monday, for like my dinner, I will eat very hot Nashville chicken
From Dave's?
from Dave's. I had Dave's hot chicken. Then I just let it settle like a stew. You know, when they bake, like in the Philippines, there's a balut. It's an egg, and they just bake it in the sand and let it just kind of heat up and rot underground, and then they eat it. That's what I do. I just let it sit there, let it stew. I'll drive around in my car and let the seat warmer full tilt, just heat it up, get it in there, just start mixing it up. And then what I do is when I get up right in the morning, I have a nice cup of strong coffee. And that's it. That's the whole purge. And then everything,
That's the whole cleanse.
yeah, it just comes
Seems
straight
like
out.
it would be really effective.
Oh, dude, I could have had a colonic that morning. I was MT as in mountain. I was MT. And it was
As somebody who's had Dave's hot chicken, which, by the way, I think about far often than I'm more than I'm comfortable with. I think about it.
I lost 16 pounds that morning, which was a lot. I think an organ came out as well, but I don't know which one. But I'm still here, so I don't know. Gallbladder? What's like appendix? Something that was not as necessary.
Well, I mean, you're still going, so I mean, it can't be too important.
Feel light on my feet. So the whole thing's coming together. So if anyone's looking for a nice cleanse, Nashville hot chicken, 12 hours, cup of coffee, go.
I'll have to check and see if that the Uber long distance delivery thing will, or the I think DoorDash. One of them now does like long distance. They'll ship it to me.
I'll ship you some. Yeah, I'm talking. I think I might do something with Men's Health and Fitness. They've reached out about my cleanse, and it's catching on. A lot of people are leaving intermittent fasting, and what they're doing is they eat. Here's what you do: you eat all week, eat anything you want, anything, as much as you want, and then every Monday you do the hot chicken and a cup of coffee, and it's like, it's like
I'm on board.
We're all on board.
Sounds fantastic.
Uterus prolapse. Oh, jeez, Katie. Oh, Katie.
Wow, Katie really
Katie.
went for that one.
Katie. But it's Christmas. Everyone's pretty good. We had a crazy weekend. Hannah had her soccer party this weekend.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. I've heard of the soccer party. I've never actually heard of a team holding one though.
We did. We had a great coach. This guy was super cool. I was only the assistant coach, so I wasn't really in charge of partying. I work on individual skills. He handed out, nowadays, this is actually a great thing too, is that when I was a kid, it was like, there might be 2 trophies. You might be MVP, maybe a most improved. That's it. No other trophies on a team, right?
Right.
You wouldn't get like, but what they do nowadays is they buy a trophy for each kid, and then they try to figure out a award. So it was really sweet and it was great, and but I wonder if we're propping them up too much, as success stories, where it should be maybe this isn't for you. You should apply your skills elsewhere.
How else are they going to find those skills if we keep propping them up?
Well, you see, and it was really sweet. He's such a good cat, and it was actually, the party was super fun, and the girls were great. But each kid got a little trophy, and the trophy had one was like fastest on the team, one was most supportive, one was like most positive. But they each, and it was really, he really sat down and put the effort in, and so I applauded it, even though in the back of my head I'm like, wow, this has changed a lot. What did he say? Wow, you should have hung out. What did it say? You should have hung out with us.
You should have hung out with us. Always a reason to party. I survived the soccer season. Wait, is this with the kids or with you as adults? Because I don't
either.
I don't want to spend more time with any of those people.
We had a great, actually, everyone was really cool. We've been very lucky with, I don't know. It's so funny because all I hear is nightmare stories. And I remember some other coaches where it was a little contentious, but for the most part, I've been pretty lucky with other parents on the teams because it's even funny with Claire's team. I was coaching it, and I was like, the whole time I'd be screaming at the kids, going, "Get away from her! She's on your team! What are you doing? Stop stealing the ball from her! Get away!" Screaming at them. And so by the end of the season, I was waiting for the parents to come up and be like, "Dude, you need to not be around children ever." And yet every single one of them came up and were like, "Hey, man, I really like the way you talk to the kids like they're adults." Like, like they're 35-year-old drunk dudes in the back of a 7-Eleven. Like you're talking to them, like you're all in jail together, which is kind of the way I talk to them. But it was so frustrating coaching. I was like, "What are you doing? God, kick it, shoot." It was nice.
See, my buddy and I coach together, and he runs all the drills and the actual coaching part, and then I'm just the HR department that deals with interterm team skirmishes and other issues.
That's funny.
I'm
the opposite. I just did skills. So I came with like the skills because I played through college. And so I would kind of do, the bells and pulling it back and the little drills that we would run and stuff. And then, but it reaches a point where the drills are like, if the kids are lined up in a drill, the only kid even paying attention is and really not even that kid, is the kid doing the drill. And then every other kid is like looking at a rainbow or a butterfly or, or just dancing with each other. So it got to a point where we would be like, we would do 1 or 2 drills and they go, "All right, scrimmage. I don't know what else to do. Just get out there and run around."
I just wanted the season to be over in every way. I just couldn't. I think I told you, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this. I don't really like. They were undefeated except in one. They lost one tournament game, but otherwise they were undefeated. On paper, those kids never should have won anything, but yet somehow we're unstoppable.
That's funny. You never know.
You never know.
At this age, it's really speed. Any kid that's fast is unguardable. If they have any skills at all, if they're fast, they're gonna do well. It's all speed.
Jace really kind of came in. Jace actually turned out to be a pretty good goalie. Which I actually was a soccer goalie, so I was able to actually teach him some sort of skills.
That's funny. We played the Netherlands. Did you watch the game? Anybody?
I did not. No.
Because the goalie for the Netherlands is 6'8", and I always think about that. I was like, man, if you put Kevin Durant in net, or like if LeBron James was like, if soccer was the main sport here, and LeBron James had been playing soccer since he was a little kid, he would be the striker for the men's national team, and he would play on Manchester United. Like, we have the best athletes anywhere, but until soccer is like the sport, we need a goal scorer. Anyway,
you played soccer. You played soccer in college.
I did, right? Until I realized other humans could be that fast. I had no idea. It's like when you play baseball and then some dude starts throwing curveballs, and you're like, "Hey, wait, can the ball move? The ball moves like that? Wait, I didn't know that." And then you're like, "I can't take this anymore."
When I got to college, I realized that my sports days were done, and then I started building robots so that robots could play sports for me.
Which is honestly, sometimes like my daughter now, she loves soccer, so we're playing a club and we're practicing a couple nights a week. And part of me is like, would she be better on the robotics team, or learning a language, or playing an instrument? Is this what? I don't know. Because at first I was like, yeah, come on, we got to get her into sports like me. And then I thought about all the years I wasted playing Pop Warner football, which was
You're the only one that I've ever heard of talk about that since like 1985.
Pop Warner?
Yeah.
Is that not a thing anymore?
I don't think so. I haven't heard of it in years.
Well, there's got to be some
There's got to be something, but I don't know.
Pop Warner?
I don't know. I haven't heard that term in forever.
Really? Oh, anybody out there? Is Pop Warner still a thing? It's got to be. I don't know. Everything's club now anyway. You can't play anybody who's any good at anything. That was the problem. So I was talking to one of the other guys who also had his daughter join the club team, because here's the problem. At a certain age, some kids are really involved in these sports, and it happens early, like before, like kindergarten, first grade. All of a sudden, some of these kids are like seriously good and practicing a lot. And then you're like, well, my daughter will get into it in a couple years in like 4th, 5th grade. But by 4th or 5th grade, it's too late, because those other kids have progressed so far
Who
that
says it
you're
isn't
not
still
going to
true?
catch it. Yes, I've heard it on sport. Yes, sports shows cover Pop Warner football. I guess I don't know. I mean, unless you're LeBron James, and if you're LeBron James, my guess is you could never have played soccer in your life, and freshman year in high school, you're going to make the team. Like,
Oh, apparently in Orange County it is still a
my
thing.
cousin coaches Pop Warner in Orange County. Yeah, come on, man, Pop Warner. Actually, Pop Warner's a dude, right? He's a real guy.
He what? Yeah, right.
I mean, it's probably like one of those guys who had the helmet without a face mask, back like the leather helmet,
It's the leather helmet, like in what was that one with George Clooney and John
Krasinski.
Yeah,
where you're like, this should have been really good. It's such a good premise, and then it just didn't.
It didn't land, did it?
Didn't land. Did not land.
Are you guys ready for Christmas to be here? Like, how close are you being?
I feel like we're pretty good. I put all the lights up. I went and got. Oh, you know what I got this year? I got mesh lights.
Like the net.
There's my Frosty the Snowman right out front. I have an inflatable. I had an inflatable Santa. He didn't make it.
He didn't come back year 2.
No, his fan broke.
So you know what I did? We had a Buddy the Elf that we got the first year that we were together, and I really liked it. And his fan died, so I viciously tore apart the inflatable Christmas Minnie Mouse and put the fan operated and brought Buddy back to life.
Oh, that's super funny. I thought about doing something like that. I was going to cut him out and just slide him over a shrub or something. He'd be like a dilapidated. He'd look like that alien that takes over the skin of the human and it doesn't really fit.
Like in Men in Black?
Yes, that's exactly. That's Vincent D'Onofrio, by the way. In that,
is it really?
It is. He's like, I'm going to. Yeah, that's Vincent D'Onofrio. He's so good. He's like, do you have sugar or something? He eats sugar, right? Santa must have it. Yeah. Santa needs
I need to get the lights finished outside. Well, we were redoing the roof here. So like I can't do the roof. I couldn't do the ones on the top of the house until they were done with what they were doing, but they're now done. And it passed the inspection. So
we did we have lights up. When the tree's been up, I kind of put it up early with the kids. It's actually the kids at 7 and 9 are at a pretty fun age for Christmas. It's a lot of work, but it is I don't know, it's pretty fun. We have to go shopping. We usually go shopping for my wife, and I take the 2 kids, and we go to the mall and walk around and go, oh, there's a sweater, there's a shirt, there's a something.
I'm really excited for the twins to do be Christmas morning this year because they understand the concept of opening gifts this year. So this is the year they're going to be very excited about it. So I'm very, very excited for this year.
I remember that age vaguely. And yeah, it's super fun, man. It's just the energy of it all is pretty fun. So I don't know. Everything's been okay this year. I think also since the last couple of years of, what was going on around the world was
there'd be a darkness there.
Yeah. Yes, I feel like the light has come at the end of the tunnel a little bit and that people are already out and about. So yeah, we have tons of, well, actually, we had trouble. We can't get babysitters. Do you guys have that? Christmas is such a holiday thing. You can't get a babysitter. Yeah.
I can't get a babysitter on a random Tuesday.
No. Well, that's because you're asking someone to watch a pack of coyotes where you're like, hey,
hey, we've got these coyotes. I mean, they may bite you. You're probably going to get rabies, but it'll be fine. Just a couple hours.
Did anybody see this? It's here. It was in Woodland Hills. The guy is in his front yard. It's daytime, afternoon. He's getting his stuff out of the car. You can see on the camera from the front of the house, there's a 2-year-old and she's walking she's on the front lawn, but she's near the sidewalk, maybe 10 feet away from the car. And all of a sudden a coyote comes out of nowhere, grabs her and tries to pull her. And she 2-year-old goes down. The coyote is dragging her, trying to drag her back. And you hear the kid scream. And then the father comes running out, swinging at have you not seen this?
I had not seen it.
Did anybody else see this? Oh,
you guys are having a real issue out there with coyotes right now, right? Because did Max have an issue? No, they're in your yard.
We had coyotes. Yes, we have coyotes. They,
But
and
weren't
I've been
they? Wasn't there a lot? Weren't they? Didn't they make a love nest in your backyard?
They were banging on the across the street. Yeah, they were doing it well. I have a video of that, of two coyotes going, and there's like a 4-foot wall, and they were going at it. Like, when I say going at it, I mean sex. They were going at it so hard that, and it was the boy. It was the well, I don't know if there were two boys or a boy and a girl. I'm not sure what's happening, but one was going from behind and went so hard, kind of flipped over the other coyote and fell off the 4-foot wall and was like, "Arr!" And then jumped up to get back in, which we've all done. I mean, who hasn't fallen out of bed mid coitus, right? I mean, that's everybody does.
I don't know.
That's
4-foot wall seems like a
4-foot
lot.
wall seemed very high. So yeah, but the coyote tried to take this little 2-year-old girl, and so I was like, "Oh God, please don't let my wife see this." You know, like that's the kind of thing where you're like, "Oh, okay," and she did, and it went around. All the moms saw this thing, and now it's like, well, by the way, why can't we just get rid of the coyotes? You know
I
what I
wondered
mean?
that too because, like, I'm friends with Alexa. Do you know Alexa Snap from? She was in Pitch Perfect and a bunch of
Sure, yeah.
She had a kitten that got outside the house, and the coyotes got it, and she chased them with a baseball bat. And literally was going to club the coyotes and like I was hunting on the street, and you can see it's like her friend filmed the whole thing. It was crazy, and
But they ran away, right?
Yeah, they didn't want anything to do with her.
No,
but they did get a little kitty. I felt terrible.
We had, oh my gosh, Hannah told me the story. There was a kid in her school. I think she like a grade up, maybe a 5th grader, and she had a new puppy. Just got a new puppy like a couple of weeks ago, and they were out in the yard playing with the puppy, and a crow took the puppy. Bye-bye.
Well, the owl tried to take Max.
The owl tried to take Max. I still think that would have been the best end of all time. Ugh, an owl. But not for a puppy. Like, Max is 18. You know, he's had his day. Now it's time for him to Logan's Run it or Soylent Green it and start feeding owls. Like, it's a Soylent Blue where it's dogs and they feed owls. Like, that would work. It's a good out. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so
I didn't realize what an issue you guys are having out there with that.
It's crazy, dude. It's like there was a mountain lion up in Griffith Park. I think there's been people attacked by mountain lions out here on hiking trails. Do you guys have like bears or anything? What do you have?
I mean, there are bears here, but I mean, they don't really, unless you get like near their cubs, they don't really mess with people themselves. They get into people's trash a lot here.
Travis says, I had a hawk try to take one of our chickens. That makes total sense. Was it a Nashville hot chicken? Because then those hawks love that stuff. I've seen the hawks, like, we had a hawk in the neighborhood too, and I see him swoop down where she'd take all the squirrels. Like, listen, why? We don't need squirrels. They're not serving a purpose. Are coyotes serving a purpose? Or do we have a abundance of rabbit population we need to get rid of? Or
I mean, rabbits aren't taking kittens or children.
No,
so, I mean, isn't there lesser of two evils?
Do we need coyotes in the small little patch of, someone's going to come out and go, dude, they're animals, they're coyotes, it's their habitat. That's how evolution.
Right, but when they're taking like your family pets and also your kids, I mean,
my question is, this is my main concern. This is how somebody could become the richest person on earth if they could eradicate mosquitoes. If you could figure out a way to get rid of mosquitoes, you would be the richest person on earth, I feel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's something Disney does inside their parks to keep mosquitoes out, and I don't know what it is. But
do they just play It's a Small World over and over and over and over and over again until the mosquitoes can't take anymore?
Did you see they're going to drain that ride and make it a walkthrough?
They are, and Splash Mountain's going away or something.
Yeah, that's turning into Princess and the Frog.
Well, I love that Splash Mountain's been around this long, but they don't normally tell you, like, you don't get there and they go, hey, this ride's from Song of the South, that incredibly racist movie we made many years ago. Enjoy the ride. Like, there's nothing. When you go on Splash Mountain, there's nothing about.
I just don't think about the racism while I'm riding it. I'm thinking about the hill drop and am I in a seat that's going to get me soaking wet? I never stop to think, gosh, this fox is really racist.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Listen, we have to wrap this at soon. We're almost out of time. That kind of flew by. Any other Christmas? We got next week. We got a big show. Actually, I think we might have a big guest. I gotta confirm it. But
We haven't done that for a little while. We should do it.
I know.
We got to. I'm really excited about the Christmas special. That's gonna be super fun.
Christmas special is gonna be huge. We may have a little Tacoma FD friend on next week. We also have a couple others are coming in the next few weeks and stuff. So it was kind of nice that we got a chance to just kind of chat and stuff because, sometimes with the guests I get tired of interviewing.
And Mulligan wasn't here, so I actually got to talk.
I know it was kind of a beautiful thing to.
We did it old school today.
I know this was how we started this thing. Yeah.
Look how far we've come.
I know Christmas is going to be super fun this year, though. I think your kids are at a good age. It's like I think 3 is like the first real year of like, okay, they get this. Let's do this. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, because Jace had his birthday yesterday, and they really wanted to be involved in the present part of it. So I know Christmas morning when they have their own gifts, it's going to be a big deal here.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool.
I'm excited about it.
Well, guys, I got to tell you, it was so funny. We're going to we're going to take the week off. I got a voiceover thing I got to do, and it's been a crazy week. But every time I come and do this thing, it's like it's so cathartic. You guys, so many funny jokes from everybody. Narcolepsy was killing me, and Joey Steeler's killing me tonight. So super fun. I can't believe it flew by that quick, but yeah, we got to wrap this thing. Huge thanks to everybody for coming along. I mean, it's crazy to see all the people that kind of come in and chat along and crack jokes and stuff. It's super funny.
It's always funny to me because a lot of people don't get to watch it live because East Coast is very late. But people always tell me, "Hey, I love the show this week," and thank you to all everybody who watches it live, and also those of you who catch it, on a replay or iTunes or wherever you're watching at it. Welcome to all the new people who came over from Sirius XM and found us on Larry the Cable Guy and Jeff Foxworthy's Comedy Roundup stuff. Welcome.
We have a new bit coming for them, and I think the elves are going to be involved somewhat in that. That's coming out in I think next week. And then we have a bunch of other stuff with Sirius XM. So huge thanks. Be sure to check us out on iTunes, subscribe, follow, write a review. We love it. And that's it. It's the holiday season, so be kind to everybody, right? Let's try to remember
unless you're coyote stealing a child.
Dude, then do not be kind. But I do want to say that I think this time of year especially, you don't know what other people are dealing with. And it's always better to err on the side of being polite and nice to people because seriously, a lot of crazy stuff going on still. Inflation and a recession going on and people with money. And it's that time of year where people feel like they have to go into debt to make Christmas perfect for their kids. And so it's kind of a tense time of year. And so it's kind of nice to see all the other parents kind of commenting and supportive. It's really sweet to see.
We're all in this together.
Yeah. And since we're all in this together, Jason and I are going to be dropping our kids off at Joey Steeler's house this weekend.
Yes. Enjoy, Joey. You wanted to see what it was like to have 2? You're about to find out.
All right. For Jason, Kate Mulligan, myself, and the rest of the Parents Lounge crew, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week with an all-new show here on the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.